I am panicking because I just Googled Austin John Metter because I was about to do the video where they said they was raping and killing my son. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going hard, and I'm going to tell on Cynthia that she threatened to rape my baby, that Joseph threatened to rape my baby, and that Austin threatened to rape my baby. And I went to get their information, any information I could find out about them online, and I Googled Austin John Metter, M-E-A-D-O-R. And when I pulled up his old arrest records, I pulled up his arrest records from some previous bookings, and then I kept scrolling down past his images on the mobile website, and I saw that he was indicted on felony accounts, 7 felony accounts on assault on a family member. July 2021 is saying, and it had 7 more rows, so it had 3 and 7 more rows, and I couldn't even keep reading because it was at Cynthia's house on Amarillo Street, and it has her address. It has Cynthia's address where they threatened to do all this to my child, and he had already been being violent with me, and she had a protective order against him, and it said he has been indicted on felony accounts of assaulting somebody else in her home, and they have had my baby. Cynthia has had my baby, and if you over here got people trying to kill me and cover up I'm pregnant by him and that he was abusing me, and then they threatened to rape my baby, and now he's over there and they done indicted him on felony accounts, and I got people online posing as him, talking about my baby is a tumor and my son is doing fine. How is my son doing fine when it say he got indicted on 7 counts of felony what? Where is my baby? And my baby don't need to be with Cynthia. My baby ain't never need to be with her because violence was occurring in her home. And I shot him, and I called the police. I ran with my baby. I tried to get him out of my house, and I don't know who the fuck this is, but I'm trying to let y'all motherfucking know. So now I gotta put out the information because my baby better be alive. And all these nasty ass black men in this motherfucking country. Nobody wasn't gonna tell me that he got arrested again for assault on a family member. Who? It better not be my child. Because they all threatened to rape him. All of them did. So don't pin nothing on Austin. My baby better be alive. And Austin said he was gonna hurt Melby. And it better not have been my baby because they said he was beating up on some girl, and I'm just praying. All I know is I don't see the report. I haven't seen the report all the way to see him. They need to go on about your business. Go. RGN 1446 black male silver Chevrolet. No, because they threatened to rape my baby, and everybody want to talk about I'm crazy. And he following me up to where I'm going. So he was assaulting who else? And I shot him, and they wanted to cover up the information. Who was he assaulting now? Well, you got to indict him on felonies. And where is my baby? And they trying to make it seem like I don't got nowhere to live and like I'm a prostitute and a drug addict, and these people done threatened to rape my baby. And they nasty, white, racist, violent pedophiles. And got black people over here trying to stage for me like, she's a drug addict. Yo, she's a prostitute. And they pedophiles too. That's helping them. And there's young ones and gang members and old ones and Uncle Toms and nasty black fat women that's, Lord forgive me because I know you two don't like me going off on people like that, but no, this is the truth. So let me go ahead and get this evidence out and see what these black people are hiding, because this happened in July of this year, and they nasty asses, all of them follow me up here. Fucking bitches. And so in July, God told me that they was trying to do a death ritual on my son, and I don't give a fuck. I'm not scared of no motherfucking body about my baby boy. So they want to try to intimidate me, like I'm supposed to be scared of now one of they black asses when these white folks threatened to rape my baby. And yes, I did shoot a white male in self-defense, but who the fuck do I gotta be scared of about them taking them and threatening to rape them? And everybody was gonna try to set me the fuck up. So So now in February 2021, February 10th, Rochelle Frazier staged for me to be put out of the Salvation Army down here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was standing there trying to get help. I told her about everything these people did, which way you going? And so, because he all up in my face. So anyway, Rochelle staged to have me put up out of the shelter, and then they had me go with a man named Marcus Mitchell from the West End Mall by the train station. That's where he met me. I was going to get me some breakfast, and they had black men following me from 5 points all over the platform. And he had followed me and asked me could he pay for my breakfast, and told me I can come and stay with him in an apartment in Luther Landing Apartments on February 14th, 2019. So that was, not 2019, excuse me, Father God, February 14, 2021. So no, that was this year. And so this male was trying to pull operations on me and the baby I'm pregnant with, and they was trying to stop me from telling the truth about Cynthia and her being a witch and her threatening to rape my baby. And God had said when Rochelle was staging to have me put out, he said her baby better be alive, because the last time that I talked to my little boy on the phone was December 2019, and they tortured me the whole year of 2020 pregnant with this baby. And then they tortured me all up until now, 2021, pregnant with this baby, and said that I could not have my son in 2019. And he was 3 years old, and said that Cynthia could have him after her and Austin and Joseph and all these black men threatened to rape my child. And the Conroe Police Department threatened to rape my child. And so then I had to go through Montgomery County, Texas. I had to go through Houston, Texas. I had to go through all of these little towns in Texas trying to be safe. And Barbara invited me to come down there with her. Let me get a black mouth, so that's why I'm smoking while I'm pregnant. And they talking about it's a tumor, wanting it to die, it's not dead. And because I don't know if my baby alive. And then I'm over here seeing that he done got arrested for something else. And the last time that I talked to my baby was December 2029. So that was the end of the year. So all of 2020, they tortured me and the baby out there in Texas. So I came out here in Atlanta and got in the shelter February 2021. So that was the beginning of this year. And they were setting me up. And they had Marcus in there trying to do stuff to me and the baby from February, March, April. And then I kept putting out the videos on my YouTube channel. And he was trying to stop me from putting out evidence and trying to argue with me and stage altercations. And they staged for me to have to be out of there with him because they said he had to leave the apartment. They said they was putting him out, but they tried to put me out first, and then they said he was going back to Texas. So he was from Texas, and they did this to us and said they were going to rape my son in Texas, and then they had a man from Texas out here setting me up and try to pretend like I could be up in his house and put out the evidence. And I told him everything. I told Marcus Mitchell that Cynthia and them threatened to rape my son, and he was over there setting me up for them. So this is how deep this shit is. And he knew I was pregnant, over there acting like he wanted to help me and the baby, and he was over there setting me up for these people. And then so they put me out and sex trafficked me. So all of this happened from the shelter. So February, March, April, May, June, July. That was 6 months of them torturing me down here. And it's August right now. So they've been torturing me all this time, sending me with different men from week to week and different locations, and had me out of the shelter where I was just trying to put out this evidence. And before Rochelle Frazier had staged to have me out of the Yarborough was behind it too, because she know why I came there, and Officer Graham was behind it. The entire location, all the black people at 469 Marietta Street is trying to cover for people that threatened to rape my child in Atlanta, Georgia, that shelter, by putting me out. And then they staged for them to sex traffic me, or to try to, and they have me just seeming like I'm distraught on social media, trying to tell about what's going on. And then they done had gang members and all the black people, whites, Chinese people, and people been in their house trying to let people come from other towns and do stuff to me in the town. And then they've been trying to involve, you know, them too in the operation. And it's been to keep me from the truth about my son's whereabouts, well-being, to keep the truth out about them threatening to molest them and rape them, and then to keep the truth out about me being pregnant and them having done all this abuse to me while pregnant. I just found online that he was abusing somebody else while I was down here in Atlanta. So while I've been getting set up, and they've been trying to pretend like he the perfect father, he didn't threaten to rape his son with them, they didn't leave me pregnant and do this to me, oh, I got a tumor, oh, he got a baby with somebody else, you know, all of this bullshit. And then I'm seeing that he done got indicted on stuff. And I'm like, okay, if it was not for what he did to me when I had to shoot him, and y'all took my baby and threatened to rape my baby instead of charging him, then what is it about? Because he got arrested after that too for going over on Cynthia's property. And Cynthia already know he was violent because she had a restraining order against him. And turns out she was a nasty woman that threatened to rape and molest my baby as retaliation with Austin and the racer gang. And they still got black men trying to come up on me. And God said, you really need to film them because they walking all up on you. But I don't give a damn. I'm not scared of these folk. My child, they bullying me, which is what I was finna put in my other video. They bullying me and threatening to rape my son. That's why I got all these channels and telling about the black men walking up on me, because they think they bullying me for people that threaten to rape my son, and they threaten to let all these different races of people come in there and rape my little boy. And so that's why I'm like, everybody get the fuck away from me, you know what I'm saying? Because if ain't nobody gonna have your back, and then they gonna go in the courtroom and try to rig it and make it seem like, oh, Andrea wasn't a good mama, oh, Andrea couldn't have her child, knowing that these wicked people is like, oh, we gonna rape him and we gonna steal the baby from her as retaliation, and have black men out here trying to stop me from telling and intimidate me. And I already said what the vengeance is gonna be about that. But anyway, so nah, because you ain't gonna have people trying to intimidate me. So they like, oh, we gonna make her out to be a bad mama, and we gonna have nobody help her, and we gonna leave her outside. And then they said they gonna rape her baby and kill her baby, and ain't nothing she could do about it, because she black and she shot a white person in this country, and we all gonna set her up and ride around trying to intimidate her and stop her from telling. And that's why I tell everybody, get the fuck out of my face. And that's why I stayed at the bus stop. And that's why God was saying you should have just stayed outside, because they trying to set it up to look like somebody over there helping you. And So now I gotta go back. I'm trying to post this video because they got me in a room where my videos load slow. And that's pissing me off because I can't just be in the room and load my video. I can go shower and load a video. You can't do that. So, I mean, I can, but I just want y'all to know my videos is low and slow in this room. And, you know, they got my family trying to cover it up for them. They got my family trying to attack me and cover up that they threatened to rape my son and that I'm pregnant. They got my cousin Irma Marshall trying to cover it up. They got my auntie Barbara Marshall trying to cover it up. They got my cousin Michelle Marshall trying to cover it up. They got my cousin Kiana Wiley trying to cover it up. They got my sister Larissa Jones trying to cover it up. They got my father Andrew Jones trying to cover it up. They got my grandmother Irma Marshall, my mother's mother, trying to cover it up. They got my cousin Jessica Marshall trying to cover it up. They got my cousin Taylor Marshall trying to cover, or Thomas or whatever, trying to cover it up. They have my cousin Desiree Marshall trying to cover it up. They have my Uncle Kerry Marshall trying to cover it up. They have my Uncle David Marshall trying to cover it up. They had my grandfather trying to cover it up. I don't know, but they had all of these people trying to cover this information up. And they have my lawyer, Ingrid Chandler, trying to cover it up. They have Judge Tracy Gilbert trying to cover it up, who supposedly signed orders saying that Cynthia could have my little boy. They had, after she threatened to rape him and molest him with the gang. So I'm gonna go back into the people that they have trying to cover it up. They have the Conroe Police Department trying to cover it up because of the racist people in the Conroe facility, the Montgomery County Jail, that said that they would rape my little boy with Cynthia. So they have the Conroe police trying to cover it up. They have Rochelle Frazier at the Salvation Army on 469 Marietta Street trying to cover it up. They have all the civilians of Buckhead, Atlanta trying to cover it up. They have all of the civilians of Atlanta in general, Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas trying to cover it up. They have Donald Trump trying to cover it up. So I'm like, okay, where is my son, bro? Like, ain't no you gonna rape my son and kill my son, like, and then have Donald Trump trying to cover up that she did this witchcraft, saying that she was gonna rape and kill my son with these people, and they all was involved. See, I knew they wanted to murder me when I first got in there. So October 2018, they had me in there. November and December, I knew they wanted to kill me, doing, thousands of witchcraft visitations, with celebrities and the ones I was telling y'all about. So, and they showing me they wanted to kill me, and that the black people knew about it and was cool with them killing me and lying about my pregnancy, because I told them I was pregnant back there in October. So, because I felt the baby moving, so I knew that they wanted to kill me. But in January, they turned around and started doing witchcraft, saying they was gonna rape my little boy out there. They said they was just gonna rape him and kill him. And so they have everybody trying to cover that up. And they done gave the woman my son that said she would do it and said she can have him. So if y'all understand, like, you don't want your child with this woman at any point in time, and then if God stopped her, she don't need to try to be like, oh, he's in school, he's doing good, oh, look, he's fine. You still said you was going to do it. You did the witchcraft saying you was going to do it. Your son did. The Montgomery County Jail, these people do not need to have my child away from me. And so, I guess I'm a little bit, I would, you could say in distress, but I'm upset. I'm angry at the spirit realm of this country, because if everybody think in the physical they could all play the situation a certain way, they think they could hide it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in the spirit all out. Like, it don't matter what you see right now in the physical. Look at my spirit coming out and saying that they threatened to rape my baby boy. And I just found out some information about Austin in July. And God had said when I was in the shelter, he said, Rochelle Frazier. When he didn't say her name, but he said the facility that they had me in was trying to stop me from putting out the evidence about Cynthia being a child molester and having a pregnant black woman in there that's been tortured, and then she's trying to get her baby, and they gave her baby to a child molester because she shot a white man. And she's in your shelter, pregnant, tortured, and she putting out the information that these people threatened to rape her little boy, and that the courts done gave the baby to the white lady, and she can't get the baby back, and they threatening to rape her. And all of them involved, even the judge that gave the baby away, all the lawyers, the whole city, now the whole country was involved. And they all took the white people's side that threatened to rape them and let her keep them. And then said, we just gonna torture the black woman across the country pregnant. And we're not gonna give her no medical care. We're gonna kill her, and whatever happened to the boy is just whatever happened to the boy. Because of white power. And because of the black people that want the money and they want to keep living lavish on the land. So they like, it's cool, whatever. One black woman did, okay. One little bit pregnant woman did, okay. One little boy got killed, okay. We all gonna just keep going on as normal. And I've been fighting. And God said when they was trying to, before they put me out the shelter, he showed me a vision because I had just put the baby heartbeat online. And that night, they was all watching my channel and saw, oh, she put that she's pregnant, that she proved it. She proved it because the whole time they were saying that I was not pregnant from the jail. The whole time all the hospitals out there was saying I wasn't pregnant 2020 or whatever. Everybody was trying to make it seem like I wasn't pregnant when I got here, and they were trying to set me up in abandoned houses and apartments and stuff to be killed with the police. They was all trying to lie, and they knew I was pregnant. So I finally got a heartbeat monitor when I got into the shelter, and I posted the truth that I really was pregnant, and the baby heartbeat was fine, and they was in there trying to do stuff to me, and God came over me And the Holy Spirit was like, I'm putting out the evidence, and I'm going out to Texas to see if my baby is alive, because you can see on Evidence Part 1, child abduction series, reality show I started from Texas when they were trying to murder me for a satanic death ritual where the blacks was just going to let the whites kill me as a so-called honor killing. Oh, because we don't want to fight y'all on behalf of Andrea Jones. We know it's wrong to let y'all rape her baby for protecting herself, but we don't want to fight y'all. We don't feel like we can win. You know what I'm saying? We just going to let them take her baby, rape her baby, and we're going to indulge in the shit too, because the white people are like, oh, let the black people do it too. And then so now they really don't want to tell if you letting black men come in there and do stuff to my child. She threatened to let black men come in there and do stuff to my child to help cover it up. So, the black men know how serious this is, so they going out of their way to try to keep me in the palm of their hand, and then to try to stage it a certain way and just keep me talking about it by myself all over social media, and the black women sitting back letting them do it, acting like their life so perfect, acting like, oh, they don't know nothing about my case, and they was involved, and all of them had their hands in it. All of them played their part with trying to help the whites cover it up for them. So the fact that this woman threatened to rape my child, the black women was being wicked, like, oh, give the white people her baby. Let the white people keep her baby, and we're not gonna stand up for her and bond her out, and we're not gonna let her come to our house and tell them to give her the baby. We're gonna let them lie on her in the jail and say that he didn't hit her, he wasn't hitting them. We gonna let them lie and say she's not pregnant. We're not gonna bond her out. We're gonna help them kill her and do voodoo on her so we can live and so we can be in the country and be cool with the whites still. And we gonna let them have her baby. And then they turned around and said they was gonna rape him and kill him. Then said they were gonna do the same thing to me. But back to my son. So God said I was gonna put the evidence out. And I've been in Atlanta, and I went to a man named Marcus Mitchell house, and God said I had to tell the truth about Bruce White. Bruce White was the man that came and picked me up from the same street where Luther Landing Apartments was when they staged for me to be out of Luther Landing Apartments with Marcus Mitchell. I was supposed to, I didn't want to be with him, but that was an apartment that they were saying I could stay in with him. That was a setup. And he knew that I was pregnant, and I was putting out the information. And Marcus was trying to stage altercations with me, and they had me leave after he got into it with some neighbors, and she said that he had to leave the apartment because the neighbor threatened to shoot him in the head. So they were just staging stuff, and then they were saying he was a pedophile, and then all of a sudden I had to leave because the lady said I was not on the lease because he got into it with the neighbors. She said she never heard nothing about me and him getting into it, but she said that she know that he's not supposed to have nobody in the apartment with him, and they were saying that the state gave him the apartment because he was bipolar, schizophrenic, and something like that from being in jail, just making up stuff. I don't know who this man is for real, but that he was trying to fool me and deceive me for these people. And I have videos of it all over my channel, and they tried to stop me from being able to put out that information, but I have it. And then so I was there with him. I got to go down and write down the time frame that I was there with him. But God said my son better be alive when Rochelle staged for me to be out of the shelter, and they set me up to go with this man. So you got to understand, when people threaten to rape your child and left you with a baby in you, and then they got women staging to set you up to go with men that's trying to set you up to be murdered. You were supposed to help me. And God showed that they was poisoning chicken inside of there from the meals that they was giving me, knowing that I'm pregnant. And then he said that Marcus and them was trying to kill the baby. And he was in there knowing that I was pregnant and trying to make it seem like he loved me and that he was going to help me and that he was going to help me get a lawyer, and trying to lure me back out there to Texas with him, where they tried to murder me and threaten to rape my son. And so I said I was going to go back to Texas, but God told me to put out the evidence first. And so they was trying to stop me from putting out the evidence out here first before I go back out there to see if my baby is alive. And they was trying to just lure me out there to be murdered first and not put out all the evidence. And there's so much evidence now because of the entire city of Atlanta allowing them to try to murder me in the city about it. There is more evidence to it because they used Atlanta, Georgia to try to discredit me from Marcus Mitchell home. And even before that, they was trying to do it when they wouldn't let me in the shelters when I first got down here. And they were trying to sex traffic me out of the shelters, and I told what they was trying to do, because it was a setup, and the staff was involved with, oh, make her look like a prostitute. And the celebrities that's from Atlanta, Georgia, they involved. So it's a Hollywood set for them to keep coming to me and trying to set it up like, oh, don't let her go to the shelter because that don't make it look the way we want it to look. She in the shelter putting out evidence about somebody threatening to rape her child and she's pregnant. Oh, she look like the victim that she is. You know what I'm saying? They look like the victims that they are. Oh, then we will get in trouble for not helping them. And she posting the baby heartbeat and that she wasn't getting the medical care and how long she been carrying the baby and how we tortured her in Texas. So they like, oh, you got to put her out. So God was saying that I'm going to put out the evidence, and they put me out to try to stop me from putting out the evidence because I could put the evidence out in the shelter and not be bothered. But they was trying to fight me in the shelter and around the shelter about my evidence and stop me from putting it out there. And then so they tried to say to have me arrested while they was trying to fight me, and I just left. And so they made me not be able to take my things with me, and I left the shelter. And Marcus had me go to the apartment with him, and he was trying to set me up there. And then they stayed for me to be out of there. And then I had put so many visions on my channel. God was showing me visions, and Cynthia had came to me saying that she was mad that I told everybody she was a grand witch and that don't nobody like to see her get angry and she can get me touched in 24 hours. And then they had showed me that they were going to stage to have me put out of the apartment. And then they staged to have me put out of the apartment. And they tried to involve Marcus Mitchell family to help set me up as well. And then they was trying to set me up with the police and the entire neighborhood, and then around Luther Landing Apartments by Westlake train station and the Bluff and everybody over there. And they had the Walmart over there on Ashby trying to set me up by Ashby train station. They were trying to set me up right there. And just in general, after I left there, I was sitting over in that area posting videos and about to go to the train station and buy me an outfit. And a man named Bruce White picked me up. They was following me in cars and having black men surveil me in cars and then approach me like they wanted me to go with them. And they had me go with a man named Bruce White, and he asked me if I would like to chill with him at his motel. I was homeless, so I was like, okay. They had just staged for me to be out of the apartment with Marcus Mitchell, and I had been staying there with him for some months. And then so I went with the man Bruce to the motel, and they was trying to make me have sex with him, and eventually made me have sex with him. And he was buying stuff for me, and they were setting me up like I was a prostitute. And then he was trying to starve me in the motel room and leave me by myself starving in the motel room. And he was on probation. Marcus was on probation. Pretty much all the black men that they were sending to me had charges from Texas all the way to Atlanta, Georgia. And he was trying to starve me in the motel room and leave me there. And I was putting out evidence saying I have reason to believe and telling the truth that I believe Cynthia O'Vera is molesting my son with Joseph O'Vera and Austin John Metter because of the witchcraft visitations that she did, saying that she would do it when they were trying to murder me for protecting myself. So as a mother, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to come to me doing wickedness and saying, oh, you shot my son, I had you in this jail, and I'm going through the courts, and, or whoever. I didn't know she was going to go through the courts, though, but she was like, and I'm going to rape your baby, and I'm going to molest your baby, and ain't nothing you can do about it, and Austin gonna rape him and kill him too, and they gonna let us do it. So when I was putting out the pictures of me and my son and my life, they were trying to set me up to be murdered and stop me from really being able to tell about my life with my son before they took him, and then threatened that they would be raping him and killing him because I shot a white man. And so in July, Austin got charged for some stuff. He got indicted. It's saying from her address. And it's like 10 rolls of indictments. And in July, they was trying to set me up out here to be murdered in Atlanta. Because I got to remember exactly where I was at in July. I think I might have been with Marcus Mitchell. I'm not exact, or I was with Bruce White. I don't know exactly who I was with because they had trafficked me to several different men, and they continuing to do that by trying to have the man tell me I gotta leave, and then another man comes. So that's just a perfect plan of keeping my shit looking discombobulated, keeping everything looking like, oh, I'm just discombobulated and I don't know what I'm talking about. And so I just found this information about him, And I gotta try to do some research and figure out what was he indicted for, because that was just a couple of months ago, July, August, and it is August. So July, hold on, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So it was just last month. And God said my son better be alive. And America was talking about doing a blood ritual on me and my son and my pregnancy. So I guess that means that they killed a person behind the scenes and killed a little boy or little girl and their babies behind the scene about some political shit. And then they lie in the media about what's really going on, and everybody just act like they don't know what really happened. So that's the kind of ritual that God was showing me they was trying to perform on us. And he said my son better be alive. So he was saying basically in February, when I was in the shelter, God was saying that that they were still trying to kill my son. So that Cynthia was still trying to get away with killing him. And I talked to my little boy December 2019, and he was with her. He was 3 years old. So he's 4 years old, and he's about to be 5. And in February of this year, the beginning of this year, that'll make him still 4 years old, because he was born at the end of the year. So that make his birthday a little bit off from other children age, but he's 4 years old. And Cynthia threatened to rape him and kill him with Joseph and Austin over racism, because I shot a white man, and they didn't care about why. Just because I hurt a white person over white power, she threatened to do this. So God was like, he better be alive, because when I was in the shelter, he said, I'm putting out the evidence and he better be alive, which means she still was trying to go through with killing him. And he specifically mentioned that it was Cynthia, because he said that Cynthia was a child molester. And that he better be alive. And God said that because Cynthia threatened to rape him with gang members and kill him and mutilate him and let them give my baby AIDS and herpes. So God was like, because she was a child molester, that I had to put out the evidence.